Today we're here at Olford to see just why the S&T department have been taking apart Alresford's signal box. Welcome to In the Loop. Hello folks and welcome to the Watercress line. Now before we find out a little bit more about what's happening behind me, it's time for a quick fire look around the railway to see what's been happening since the last episode. Now while the railway has not been running for November, by the time you see this, it'll be day one of our Steam Illumination service. And of course, this is a few weeks before when we're filming this, so that means one thing particularly, that it's about to get really busy in the carriage works with coaches flying in and out. In fact, they're actually lined up here at Ropley. 12 vehicles in total. You've got 10 passenger vehicles, you've got the 2 BYs which take the generator, and actually I tell a lie, there's one more as well in the form of one of our shunters wedged in the middle for help with, well, shunting everything around. An exciting time, and if you haven't already, do look at watercressline.co.uk to book your tickets for Steam Illuminations. Now you may have already heard, but some exciting news for next year. For the Railway 200 Inspiration Train will be visiting us here at the Watercress line as part of our Magic of Steam event in February half term. Co-curated with the National Railway Museum, Inspiration reveals how railways transformed the UK and ultimately the world. It includes a fascinating look at railway firsts, hands-on engineering challenges, and a whistle-stop tour of interesting and lesser-known careers of the railways. More than 40,000 people have already visited Inspiration on its 60-stop, year-long tour of Britain and has received rave reviews. Now the train itself is down on the 19th and 20th of February, so do check watercressline.co.uk for more information and to book your tickets early while they last. If it's like the rest of the train's tour, they do sell out remarkably quickly. Now a few of you guys have asked about the 150, the general state of play with that. Well, it's still at Derby at the moment, waiting to come down. Understandably, when you move something on the main line, there's a few things to sort out, and gauging is one of them. Gauging, in short, is if I were to send this shunter behind me through this platform, tunnel, bridge, you name it, it's not going to hit it. Simple as. Now there's an element of the route where the unit is not gauge cleared for, and fortunately that's a very crucial one because it's just up the line here near Aldershot. However, that's in the process of being signed off, so soon, hopefully, we'll be getting it down here. And as soon as we find out the dates and timings, we of course will let you guys know. So when we do find out, please do take the opportunity, if you can, to get out and about, take some wonderful photos and videos of this fantastic journey for this new unit to come to its new home here at the Watercress line. Now ahead of the winter running season, the Class 20s have been down in Ropley, given a full MOT, so checking the oil levels, coolant levels, condition of the brake blocks, topping up the sanders, and that's because they are the Thunderbirds for the Steam Illumination services. The insurance policy you hopefully won't need to call on, but it's handy to have there. During the day, before any train starts running, they will do a route proving run all the way to Alton, down to Alresford and back again, just to make sure everything's all right, there's no trees on the line. They'll also drop some sand as well. They'll then head up to Medstead and Foremark Station and stay there to be called upon if needed, and between trains they may pop down into the cuttings either side of Medstead to drop some sand, because that's the really slippy part of the Alps here. Now understandably this sounds like a fantastic video, and you're in luck because we've already done one. So if you're watching on YouTube and you click around there, probably you'll see one that takes you to what the Thunderbirds do, and crucially if you want to find out a bit more about leaves on the line, which sounds like that old sort of railway cliche, then click around about there and that will take you to it. Understandably, if you're watching on Facebook, that feature doesn't really happen, but fear not, I shall put a link in the description below. Now aside from the diesels and the coaches, understandably our locomotives have also been rigged up, and I've done no research into this whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time Canadian Pacific, the Merchant Navy, has had this much light put on it. Happy to be corrected on that one. Aside from that, mechanically, they've all had a washout. The Ivet is having its annual exam at the back, so these will be ready to run very shortly indeed, or by the time you watch this, on the train tonight. Over here in the boiler shop with the 75 standards boiler, work's currently going on the firebox. So the side sheets have come back now. They're starting to be welded, you can see there. You can see the throat plate is already on the front. Remember, this boiler is upside down, so that's actually the lowest point of the boiler, and that's where you get the most corrosion. Looking at 499, the laps have been drilled, and you can see here on the inner firebox, they've got the pilot's hold marked out, ready to be drilled and reamed and tapped for stays, like we saw with Canadian Pacific, albeit on a, mercifully for the team, slightly smaller scale. On the ground, they've got the front tube plate, that's now arrived. There's a bit of fitting and fettling work to do before that can go on the front, but work is progressing rather well indeed. Now, aside from everything else happening in the boiler shop, we of course have the tender for the 7F. Still very much in the strip down phase at the moment. There's a fair bit of corrosion to deal with, and it's still a case of working out what can be salvaged, what has to go and be replaced, and generally just working out how much work needs to be done. An unenviable task, but then again they did get a fair bit of life out of this tender. Here inside Ropley MPD with the bits and bobs for Weybridge here, the tender itself is going well. It's near enough there, just some minor finishing jobs to do, and they're also continuing work here with the air smoothed outer casing where the boiler sits on the inside, and it's almost that sort of trademark bullied look. But lots going on, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. Aside from being rigged up for lights, 506 has also been having a pistons and valves exam, which is why you can see it's sort of in bits. You can actually see the piston valve heads for the other side are on the bench there. They've also been doing some new piston rings for that. Once that's done, it'll be put back together and ready to run. Well, a lot here happening at the Watercress line. Now in today's episode, we're down here at Alresford, where the Signalling and Telecoms, or S&T department, are currently taking apart the interlocking for Alresford frame. The interlocking is essentially your failsafe. It means the signalman can't pull a lever they're not supposed to. So vitally important, and interestingly, it just works by bits of metal slotting together. Understandably, they're currently working on Alresford Stage 2 down the far end, so they need to make a few additions to the frame. So, without further ado, let's hand over to the S&T manager, Pat.
Welcome to Alresford Station on Wednesday the 12th of November, must get that right. Just to keep everybody abreast of the situation and the works that the Signal Engineering Department are carrying out for practically 4 weeks, we are modifying the mechanical interlocking in the signal box behind us, good old Alresford, which is around about 1888, and the new mechanical interlocking that went in 1994, we are making some major alterations to facilitate the Alresford lengthening of the loops. This is called Stage 2, Part 1. So this stage involves all the changes required within the mechanical interlocking behind us in the signal box. The mechanical interlocking is a way of controlling the signals to points and ensure they're interlocking for the correct movements for signalling of the trains. It's involved quite a lot of work. We've been at it now for 8 days, and it's involved a lot of mechanical fitting. We've got a team of 4 to 6 on each day, and basically it's metalwork skills, cold riveting, cutting, drilling, and basically making sure all the interlocking fits to the design. As an example, in front of me is a piece of Stevens tappet locking. There are 3 trays of this, a top, middle and bottom. In each tray there are 3 bars, and by moving sideways, as you can see, driven by tappets that go the other way, which are directly connected to the levers as you pull them, you can interlock the levers as appropriate or as to the design. So there's a lot of work involved with this. We've been at it now, as I said, for some 8 days. We are getting there. We're around about 2/3 of the way through. The lads have been wonderful, and then we've got the testers to come in and test the interlocking when we've finished. Right, good morning again everybody. We're now underneath Alresford signal box of, as I said, of 1880 vintage. In front of you is an 18 lever Stevens pattern lever frame with 3 trays of locking, top, middle and bottom. This is Stevens locking, 4 1/8 centres between levers, lovely measurement. We are currently, as you can see, all the interlocking is in pieces. So all 3 of these trays are currently having some major modifications. In front of us is a dog chart. There are 3 copies. There's existing, this is the changes, So we've got green is out, red is new and in, and then we've got a final one which is all in black. So we're working between the three because there's a lot of fitting to do. So you need to compare the old one to the changes on this one to the final on that one. They all match, obviously, but we need to therefore modify. So we take out the green and then we modify to the red or provide new parts to the red. The tappets are the longer red ones, so all of these ones have been replaced with new tappets. Like for instance the one in 12 there, that's a new, completely new tappet. So we've had to make that one, and we've had to make all the new tappets in 18, because 18 is it's currently the spare lever, which becomes a new working lever. As you can see, there are 3 new tappets here. So they've had to be bent and welded and put into place. When it's finished, then they will test. We have an independent principals tester and an independent mechanical tester to ensure that it's compliant.
So there we are, a little glimpse into what S&T do. Now understandably there's a lot going on there, and it'll be handy to see what's actually happening. We've seen bits of metal moving, levers being pulled, but what's actually going on? Handily, here at the Watercress line we have something to show you just that, which is this. This is a demonstration frame. It's currently based at Medsted and 4 Marks in the old signal box on the platform, and if you do come down for Illuminations or any other time, do ask the station staff. If they're not too busy, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to show you. So what's actually happening? Well, this is a demonstration frame and it works exactly the same as a signal box, like we're standing here in Medsted. Reds are the signals, blacks are the points, yellows are for the distant signal, and the whites, they don't do anything, they're just spare. This is great because it shows you how all bits of interlocking, like we've seen down at Alresford, work and, well, interlock together. For example, I've reversed a set of points, I've cleared the signal, but the interlocking will now not let me move those points back until the signals return to danger. It's a really good system. You can see how everything moves, how it all relates to one another, and it prevents the signalmen doing anything they shouldn't do. So, there we are. An interesting world of S&T. And that's it from us this time, folks. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you to Pat for chatting to us, and we'll see you next time.